This story has been making pretty big news because there was an inmate, a very, very dangerous killer that has been let out on the street. Not let out on the street, I should say he's in the street, but he broke out of prison and he is a danger to society, probably a danger to himself. You guys need to keep your eyes open. A lot of people have been going live about this. I do want to give one YouTuber in particular a big, big shout out because I was in his chat the other day and he gave me a shout out. So Ikmail, if you are listening, shout out to you. Definitely want to make sure and give him a big, big salute on this story because he has really, really been on it since the moment that this story started. But before we get into this, I got to give you guys a warning about the details if it don't sit well with your sensibilities. And I forgot, that doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And yes, you guys are right. They are still having trouble finding this dude. So we're going to share this story without me turning my camera off. We're going to share this story, and hopefully, if y'all recognize his face or recognize what's going on, see something, say something, it's the most important time to do it. So I'm getting this story from coopwb.in, which I believe is for .info, and usatoday.com, so thank you for the article. So a lot of you guys are probably going to know who this fool is. So let me give you a little bit of a informational packet about this guy. Danelo, D-A-N-L-E-O, Cavalcante, C-A-V-A-L-C-A-N-T-E, a 34-year-old Brazilian national, recently made headlines when he escaped from Chester County Prison in Philadelphia. Just a week before the incident, he was sentenced to life in prison for brutally stabbing his ex-girlfriend to death in the presence of her two young children. Let me say that again. Hashtag mom's boyfriend. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death, which is an AFC hashtag. I don't know when people are going to wake up, especially parents, those who have children, small children, especially children that can't speak for themselves, cannot defend themselves against the tyranny of mom's boyfriend, right? I continue to keep talking about these stories, and I thought this was important as another example of why is it that the most dangerous, deranged people continue to keep getting women, and it's no problem. Right now, I can almost guarantee you that there's somebody hiding this dude out, and which is why they're having difficulty finding him. So one can only speculate that that might be part of the problem. But nonetheless, given the severity of his crimes and his subsequent escape, Danelo is currently the subject of a massive manhunt. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of news videos. I'm going to show you the video about where they believe that he escaped at. So it took place around 8:50 a.m. on Thursday and confirmed by Chester County District Attorney's Office. He is considered extremely dangerous and is also wanted for a separate murder in Brazil. Such a wonderful guy, right? This is the type of guy that you'll pass up on the guy that has the blue-collar job, working as a store manager or working your regular call center job. But your local thug, drug dealer, escapee, murderous-ass boyfriend gets to get all the sex in the world. Isn't that something? Let me give you guys a fair use of this. We're not going to even go into the rest of the story, but I will show you guys how he escaped. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys are watching this video, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. It'll share this video and let more people know where to find it. Let me see if I can get you a bigger version of this because I really want y'all to be able to see this clearly. So let me make this, hold on, let me pause it, hold on. Let's make it bigger. That's about as big as I could probably make that without getting too distorted. So, brighten it up a little bit. So just take a look at this. Take a look at it in slow motion. What's going on? Illicit deeds in the building. What's happening? Y'all see this, right? Man, if only people use their brains for good rather than to be doing crimes, the world will be a much, much better place. Watch this again. They saw it on the camera and everything. Y'all saw that, right? One more time for the people in the back. This is a man on a life sentence, convicted murderer, and wanted in a whole nother country for murder.
More confirmed sightings, a stolen van towed away, but police still have not found a prisoner who escaped from Chester County Jail more than a week ago, and now it appears he's on the move again. I'm Shayna Ferreira. For days, the search perimeter centered around Longwood Gardens, but now police have changed their focus of their attention. Here's what we know tonight. The search, Danelo Cavalcante, has now moved on to about 20 miles away from the previous area. Police say Cavalcante stole a van to get away, and they say he just changed his clothes and even shaved his face. Now, Eddie, you've been on top of the story all day. What can you tell us?
Hey, good evening, Shayna. This is the area they've been searching.
And for those who are asking, you said it looks like he's done this before. Well, he actually has. He's actually escaped prison before. And also, I meant to mention this part. His sister was arrested by immigration officials also. The sister of escaped convicted murderer Danelo has been arrested by U.S. immigration authorities while the fugitive prisoner has been attempting to contact former co-workers seeking help eluding law enforcement. So think about that. So I think what it was her sister had been here too long, so U.S. Immigration and Customs, which is ICE, faces possible deportation over some immigration issues. And I think she had just been here and just been sitting here and hadn't got made official. So they're about to get her up out of here.
For the last couple of hours, I'm going to get out of the frame here to show you.
And welcome you guys to the chat. If y'all will, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment in the chat so I can see that you guys are here. Much love and appreciate it. Let's go.
Several police vehicles, law enforcement vehicles in this area. They've been coming and going, state troopers coming and going up and down this road. This road had about 30 or 40 different law enforcement lined up at one point a couple of hours ago. Right now we are near the corner of Conestoga Road and Font Road. This is in Glenmore Township, PA. And the intensity picked up right around 6 o'clock. Roads were shut down. But unfortunately, as of right now, we have no official reports of a new sighting or that he's been caught. Early Sunday.
Let's go back. I do want to hear that part.
Changed his appearance and is now clean-shaven and wearing a yellow or green hooded sweatshirt, a black baseball cap, green prison pants, and white shoes. Their search moving over 20 miles away from the Longwood Gardens area to Phoenixville. Police say Cavalcante went to an old work associate's home around 9:52 p.m., talking through a Ring doorbell camera where these images were captured. The homeowner wasn't home, and when they reviewed their footage around midnight, they called police to let them know.
Investigators were also made aware of another sighting in the Phoenixville area in which Cavalcante appeared at a residence of another old work associate at 10:07 p.m. That associate was not home, but a female resident observed Cavalcante and called her friend. That friend responded to the residents and eventually placed a call to local police.
Through these tips, law enforcement learned that he had stolen this white van. They confirmed it was taken from a business in the Longwood Gardens area after the owners left the keys in it.
This most recent incident is a reminder that he will take advantage of any opportunity to obtain items he needs. It is also imperative that anyone with information about Cavalcante contact us immediately so we can act on it in a timely manner.
Now at 10:40 a.m. on Sunday, the vehicle was discovered abandoned in a field behind a barn in East Manfield Township. Police focused their search on that area, eventually shifting their efforts to the area of Fairview and Wind Hollow Road. It was here that we talked to Franco Rosa, who says Cavalcante lived with him for 4 months, and he moved out a few days before he killed his ex.
Did he seem like an evil person?
No, not at all, not at all. He was just really quiet guy, shy guy.
He says he assisted police with the murder investigation and is offering any help he can now.
I don't want him free anymore because it's not just me. If I'm this nervous, can you imagine like the ex-girlfriend's sister who is taking care of the 2 kids? They're super scared. I have my cousin, she has kids in school going to Phoenixville. They're always scared too.
And law enforcement confirmed that Cavalcante's sister was arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and is possibly facing deportation. Officials believe Cavalcante has been seeking help from people he knows in the region.
And new developments there on the escaped killer who has been on the run in Chester County for 11 days now. Just in the last hour, officials giving a press conference with more details on the search and Danelo Cavalcante's movements. Want to listen to some of what they had to say.
I do believe that he's still in Pennsylvania. He is absolutely looking for support. He needs that support. He doesn't have it. The planning that was going into tomorrow's efforts, we were bringing even more resources in. He is very determined. We are even more determined. He will be held to justice.
NBC's Marissa Parra is in Chester County, Pennsylvania for us. Give us an update, Marissa, if you will, on some of what we just heard and where we are now.
Yeah, we learned a lot. And I think the first thing to start off with is police are asking for the public's help in this. They have been. But one of the things that they're really stressing to people, not just keep an eye out, but make sure not just your homes are locked, but also your vehicles. Make sure that you're not doing something like leaving them not just unlocked, but leaving the keys inside of a car. Because Cavalcante right now on the run, clearly looking for any opportunity he can to aid himself. So we're going to go through everything that we learned that really illustrates what he's been doing so far and what they believe he's capable of. So we understand there's a local dairy farm not too far away from where we are right now. This is near the Longwood Gardens. Behind me is the command post that has been the nerve center for the last 11 days, if you will, here in Chester County. And so it was somewhere between the hours of 7 and 10 p.m. yesterday. This local dairy farm, this family inside was asleep. Little did they know, when they left their keys inside of that van, at some point, Cavalcante stole that vehicle. And so police then later discovered, because they got calls about this, 9:52 p.m. and as well at 10:07 p.m. He attempted to ring the doorbells of old friends, old associates that he used to know from the past, asking for help. He is seen on camera doing so, and that's actually where you see some of those new images of him with a whole new look. You see that green sweatshirt, a new hat, the same prison pants, but a new look. He's got a freshly shaven face, even sporting a new smile here, as he was asking for help from some old friends of his. And so then police had a confirmed sighting. They identified a vehicle associated with him somewhere around 5:20 in the morning. Things get a little hazy. Police are not filling in the dots for us in terms of exactly what has happened where. We know that they had a confirmed sighting at a church near Phoenixville. And again, for reference, for those who don't know this area, that's about 40 minutes about northeast of where we are right now, where all of this, remember, Longwood Gardens was where that search was, that 4-mile perimeter here just yesterday. Now, 40 minutes northeast of here, that's where they had a confirmed sighting of him at a church. And that was Phoenixville. So then this morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, they found that van that they said everyone should be on the lookout for, abandoned behind a barn. They said they believe one of the reasons why that vehicle was abandoned was due to low fuel. Now, when we talk about the urgency, asking people to be on the lookout, to keep their keys out of their vehicle, keep those vehicles locked, and keep their homes locked, because clearly, as we're seeing, he already stole a van. They think they're not sure what he's doing right now, but they think it's very possible that he might have stolen another. They didn't report any signs or have any reports of a stolen vehicle, but they say he is desperate, he is looking for help, and anyone who is caught having done so already or that will do so will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Yes.
Police are closing in on the convicted killer who has been evading capture for 7 days and counting. Now, there was apparently a sighting of a suspect that matched the description of Danelo Cavalcante at this Walmart in Chester County, about 30 miles outside Philadelphia. That person apparently fled into the woods. No word if that was indeed the escaped fugitive, but it gives you an idea of how on edge the people are in this area.
Possible sighting in the woods around the Walmart. There's male, short, skinny, brown curly hair with a white t-shirt and dark pants.
There are roadblocks everywhere, with police stopping and searching hundreds of vehicles, including our own crew car. As the search area expands, residents are receiving reverse 911 calls.
If you see him, do not approach and call 911 immediately. He is the victim of homicide and presumed extremely dangerous.
CNN's chief law enforcement analyst John Miller says he's not surprised the search has taken this long.
He's in a relatively small box. He's under-resourced, and at some point he's going to run out of gas, and they're going to find him.
And we're learning how Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County Jail just a week after being sentenced to life without parole for stabbing his girlfriend to death. Just released surveillance video shows him crab walking up the wall of the exercise yard. He climbed to the roof and then walked across the roof to another part of the prison. Then he pushed through razor wire and made his escape to freedom, all unnoticed by corrections officers standing guard in a watchtower. Incredibly, another prisoner escaped in exactly the same way 5 months ago, but he was recaptured within minutes.
We are certainly going to look at what the actions of that tower officer were, why he did observe what was occurring in that yard.
Cavalcante is believed to be hiding in barns and empty homes by day and moving at night, possibly following railroads to navigate his way past the police perimeter.
One challenge for searchers is that it's so hot that thermal technology doesn't really work to help find the escapee in that thick brush. A police dog involved in the search had to be hospitalized today because of heat-related injuries.
How could it happen? Escaped murderer Danelo Cavalcante slipped through the police dragnet and vanished, despite roadblocks and an intense manhunt. It's believed he used a network of underground tunnels and drainage ditches to evade cops. Then on Saturday night, Cavalcante came here to this sprawling family-owned dairy farm called Bailey's. Incredibly, it's just 2 miles away from the Chester County prison from where he escaped. Once he got here, he found a refrigerated Ford van, and the keys had been left inside. Then he just drove off. The dairy farm is just outside the police perimeter, which is apparently how he was able to evade the roadblocks. Now cops are facing some awkward questions.
Do you believe any mistakes were made that allowed him to get out of that perimeter?
I don't know that I would characterize it as a mistake. As I said, again, without knowing specifically what happened, what I would tell you is that I had concerns. I knew that there were weaknesses in that perimeter.
He drove 24 miles on one of 3 possible routes to East Pikeland, to the homes of 2 former co-workers.
Caller believes the escapee was at his home. Hispanic male, 30s, 5'2", average build, green hoodie, gray pants.
He was captured on a Ring camera. He has changed his appearance and is now clean-shaven. He also has fresh clothes, a lime green hoodie, and baseball cap.
He was trying to make contact and he was trying to solicit help.
The stolen van was found abandoned in a field after he ran out of gas. Franco Rosa is a former roommate of Cavalcante's.
Super anxious, super nervous. You know, I want this to be done as soon as possible. I want him to be in jail as soon as possible.
He showed me this video of Cavalcante moving out the day before he murdered his girlfriend. Did you ever know this guy was capable of not only murder, but surviving out in the wild like this?
No idea. Like, I had no idea he was able to do all of this.
He revealed that the crab walk Cavalcante used to escape is similar to the way that kids climb trees in Brazil, where he's from.
Well, the hunt for an escaped murderer is expanding in Pennsylvania this morning after police say he slipped away again over the weekend.
Police Ortiz has been tracking this story for 12 days.
Yes.
Because that's how long he's been on the run.
Yeah, this is day 12, and this search.
And yeah, he's probably getting some type of help. The scary thing is who's actually helping him, which is a reason why they were alerted to his sister that was nearby, and they ended up arresting her because she shouldn't have still been in the country and just sitting and chilling. She hasn't gotten legalized yet. So ICE is on her and just trying to really I don't know how he's made it this far for this long. But let's keep going. A couple more videos.
Danelo Cavalcante has now shifted dramatically. A doorbell camera captured new images of the escaped killer after he managed to slip through a police perimeter. Take a look at these. You can also notice his image has changed drastically as well. He's got his clean-shaven face now and also wearing a green hoodie. So he managed to slip through that police perimeter again this weekend. He's been spotted at least 10 times since he escaped a prison outside Philadelphia on August 31st. Police say that he stole a delivery van Saturday night and then drove about 25 miles to the home of a former co-worker. When that person wasn't home, he then drove to another person trying to connect with them.
In Pennsylvania, convicted killer Danelo Cavalcante has once again managed to slip past a police perimeter. Authorities are saying they're now going to bring in more officers after Cavalcante managed to steal a van. You see it on your screen. He's also changed his appearance, as his recent image shows. He's now clean-shaven, and apparently he's changed his clothes as well. Brandon Goldner from CBS Philadelphia has more on what is now a 12-day search.
He is very determined. We are even more determined.
Convicted killer Danelo Cavalcante has left authorities scrambling again after he managed to slip past police this weekend.
No perimeter is 100% secure, ever. I'm not going to make an excuse to you. I wish it had not happened.
Police say Cavalcante stole a dairy delivery van Saturday night and drove about 25 miles to a former co-worker's house, where a doorbell camera spotted him with a new look. Now clean-shaven and wearing a bright green sweatshirt, he made a second attempt at another co-worker's house, apparently looking for help evading authorities both times.
He will take advantage of any opportunity to obtain items he needs.
The van was found ditched in a field Sunday morning, likely abandoned because of low fuel.
He's been crafty, staying really in the woods down near the creeks, but it sounds like the law enforcement has really closed in.
Jason Masaryk lives nearby.
Folks are really vigilant around here. You've come to our back road, out here in our woods, we're going to help find you. We're going to get you.
Cavalcante's been spotted at least 10 times since he broke out of prison on August 31st while awaiting transfer to serve a life sentence for murdering his ex-girlfriend.
I'm confident we will identify where he is.
Officials have not released any additional details about those two people Cavalcante tried to get in touch with, but they say they know he is trying to seek support right now. Meanwhile, the weather has played a major impact on this search, stressing law enforcement after that heat wave last week. Heavy rain grounded police helicopters over the weekend. Nate?
Let's hope he's...
And I definitely get it, like mistakes were made or there were some... What do you call it? Maybe not say mistakes. Let's just say that there was some weaknesses in their roadblocks and stuff like that, and their perimeter searches and things like that. But to allow it to go this long, and I'm just saying, like, I feel like there is a high probability that something is going to happen to somebody else here pretty quick unless they get on him and find this dude real quick. So just pray and hope for that mother and her kids. Pray for those children, for the mother that lost their life behind this damn fool right here who should have never been in our country. Hashtag strengthen the borders, right? And he killed somebody in Brazil from what they're reporting. Find this dude, man. And if we get any information, we'll definitely probably do another update because that's a very, very dangerous person that needs to be off our streets. But check us out on the AFC podcast and shout out to all the other YouTube channels that are talking about this story and keeping you up to date with the information, okay? Thank you. I want you guys to brace yourselves because when I saw this, and I got to give a shout out to Alyssa Deeds, who was the first person to send me this story, And I truly, truly appreciate her. Make sure you guys check out illicitdeeds.com as well as Facebook, Illicit Deeds, and so many others. This story dominated my email, the afcmatters@gmail.com. Because when you read the title and you hear about this angle grinder, because I actually used to work at a company back in the day. I can say it now. It's been a long, long time. For Cooper Cameron, we used to build wellhead parts and work on big, huge steel parts. And one of the tools I used to have to operate with was an angle grinder. So I know how powerful they are, how dangerous they are, and how sick and demented a person has to be to take that against another human. Not only another human, but your own son. But let me give you guys a disclaimer before we start talking about this story real quick. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I want to give I gotta stop doing that. I want to give a special shout out to YouTube and thank them so much for being more understanding about my content, because we haven't been getting demonetized as much lately, and I truly, truly appreciate that. Because I feel like I do a pretty good job of letting people know what type of content we stand for, what our advocacy is about. We advocate for children first to bring more attention to these stories. That baby that you guys see on my screen, 16 years old, he's still a very, very young man. And I can almost guarantee you, this might sound harsh, but I'm going to say it because I believe it. I believe, let me back it up. That young man that you guys see on the right-hand side of my screen would have been 10 to 25 times better than this alleged father of his. He was going to grow up and become something great. I think his father was probably jealous of that and ended this boy's life for absolutely no reason, probably just out of pure hate and jealousy. Let me tell you about this, and I'm getting this directly from the polksheriff.org website, so thank you very much for the article. On Labor Day, which was Monday, September 4th, the Polk County Sheriff's Office arrested 37-year-old Stephen Thomas Rada of Lake Wales and charged him with first-degree murder and the homicide of his own 16-year-old son by the name of Stephen Lee Rada, R-O-D-D-A. That young man right there. That is so sad. Y'all, I want y'all to, and like I said, I know I talk about people's looks because I think I don't think that should bother people. Like, I don't know why that bothers people when I talk about people's looks who kill children. Why does that bother so many people? I still don't understand that. They killed a child. The most innocent, most defenseless people on our planet. The most unprotected group of people on our planet are children. I don't know why people find that hard to believe and just say all types of ridiculous things. Come on, y'all. So you mean to tell me they're saying this man is 37 years old? That is a hard ass 37 years. Let's pause it right there. Take a look at that picture on the right-hand side of the screen and just tell me, in your honest opinion, tell me that he looks like he's 37. I would believe it if you told me he was 73 before I would believe 37. You look at me and look at him. I'm almost 3 to 4 years older than him. I'm in my 40s. Older than him. Why does he look like he's old enough to be my father in the face? Speaking of angle grinders, it looked like somebody took a weed whacker to his face. Like, was a hard meth life out here for us. That is crazy. There's no way he's 37, but that's what they're claiming. We're going to have to go with that. Sheriff Judd, so I'm assuming that's Sheriff Grady Judd because this is Polk County, so yes, it is. So shout out to Sheriff Judd. gave preliminary details about the investigation on scene. The following is an let me see. Maybe I can skip some of this. On September 4th, 2023, at approximately 11:15 hours, don't know how you calculate that. I think that's in the morning. Thomas Rada called 911 to report he found his grandson, Stephen Lee Rada, 16 years old, unresponsive in a pool of blood. The Polk County deputies and Polk County EMS responded to the scene and found Stephen Lee Rada, the victim, deceased in the dining area of the residence. The victim suffered a deep laceration to the underside of his left arm, lacerations to his left eyebrow and left ear, superficial lacerations to his abdomen, and 3 deep lacerations to the back of his head. That's what happened to this young man. If you ask me, that you can't do something like that unless you absolutely hate a person. And that sounds like hate, extreme rage, and jealousy. Now, I'm curious, are people going to break out their whistles and cry foul and say that this man was suffering from some type of mental illness, y'all? Y'all want to give him an excuse? When he took a grinder wheel that's supposed to be used probably on metal and took that to his son's head? To the point to where he had 3 deep lacerations to the back of his head on top of everywhere else he was cut up on his body. The victim was missing some teeth, which were located near his body. Sounds like he was probably hit in the face too. Apparent human hair was found in the victim's left hand, so it sounded like he tried to fight back. Blood splatter was visible on the wall near his body and head. A handheld angle grinder. Do y'all know what that looks like? Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. Handheld angle grinder. Wow. So, okay, these are not the small itty bitty ones that I was using at my job. These look like they're a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can show y'all on my screen. Look at this. This is just one random one I pulled off of Amazon. Y'all see how big that is? Let me give you an example. Let me show one that's actually being held in somebody's hand. Look at that. Look at how big that is. That is huge. That's not the little Peasley one that I was using at my old job. I just wanted y'all to see that, just for context. Blood splatter was visible on the wall near his body and head. The handheld angle grinder was located next to the victim, with a broken saw blade on the ground. While on scene, I learned that Thomas Rada, Stephen Lee Rada, the victim, and Stephen Thomas Rada, the suspect, all live in the same dwelling as a family unit. Thomas advised on this day he left the residence at approximately 800 hours to visit his wife at the Palm Gardens Rehabilitation Center. When he left the residence, only Stephen Lee Rada, the victim, and Stephen Thomas Rada, the suspect, were at the residence. He left the rehab center at approximately 10:30 hours and returned home. When he returned home, the suspect was standing outside and asked Thomas Rada for a cigarette. The suspect then told Thomas Rada not to go inside the residence, that he just killed somebody. So he didn't even say he killed his son. He said somebody as if his son was a nobody. The suspect then told Thomas Rada he should probably call the police. Thomas Rada entered the residence and found the victim deceased in a pool of blood in the dining room floor. When Thomas Rada left, exited the house, the suspect was gone. At approximately 11:34 hours, deputies located the suspect walking west along Highway 60 near Westlake Wales Road North. The suspect had blood on his jeans and a fresh laceration on the knuckle of his right hand index finger. He was taken into custody without incident. Rada was booked into the Polk County Jail and attended a first appearance hearing on Tuesday afternoon, September 5th, 2023, and he is being held, obviously, with no bond. I don't know what kind of argument they got into or what type of, what type of crack rage he went into to do this to his son, but it is just absolutely not worth it, man. Just terrible. Let me give you guys the fair usage real quick. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys would do me a favor and hit that thumbs up when you come in, it always helps us share these videos and let more people know where to find them. That thumbs up helps us tremendously, so hit that thumbs up. Here we go.
All right, thanks for that. A father accused of killing his own son in Polk County has been ordered to remain behind bars. He faced a judge today, and News Channel 8's Polk County Bureau Stacy DeSilva was there and has more from the sheriff's office in Winter Haven with the latest.
The Polk County Sheriff calls this a horrific murder. Stephen Rada accused of killing his own son with his same first name, a 16-year-old boy also named Stephen.
In this case is Stephen Rada.
37-year-old Stephen Thomas Rada with some bizarre, unprovoked responses in court Tuesday.
I have a pardon from Montana, and my name is Michael Olney.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir.
Okay, I'm on the NFL as well. So
he is facing a charge of first-degree murder, accused of killing his own son.
Being a capital felony, you'll be held no bond.
This was the scene Monday in Lake Wales, where Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd says Rada killed his 16-year-old son, Stephen Lee Rada, with an angle grinder, a type of power tool. According to the sheriff, the boy...
Let me give a real quick shout out. Thank you, Joseph Cappuccino. If you're listening, channel member, thank you so much. And also my guy, Reege 3002, brother. If you're listening, thank you so much, man. Just got your cash out, brother. Always appreciate that. Want to make sure and shout you guys out, and everybody else. I don't want to miss nobody. Let's keep going.
Grandfather came home to find his son, the adult Stephen Rada, outside the house. He told the grandfather he killed somebody inside. Deputies were called to the scene and located Stephen Rada walking on Highway 60.
It breaks our heart. There aren't adequate words to explain how horrific this event is.
According to his arrest affidavit, Rada made conflicting statements to deputies about his son, the victim. The sheriff says Rada had a history of methamphetamine use since high school and was prone to psychotic episodes.
We've lost a great young man, and we've got an evil man in custody, and we're going to do our best to see that he spends the rest of his life in prison.
The sheriff says Stephen Rada, the 16-year-old victim, was an 11th grader at Frostproof Middle Senior High School who was training to be an electrician. His father is now being held on no bond for his murder. Reporting in...
So his son wanted to be an electrician. I'm telling you, his son was going to be 100 times better than what his dad was. That is so sad, man.
He's charged with brutally murdering his own child, and things took a bizarre turn when he faced a judge this afternoon. 37-year-old Stephen Rada is accused of using a power saw to kill his 16-year-old son. And as Fox 13's Evan Axelbank shows us, Rada made some outlandish statements in court.
This is the most serious kind of charge one can face, a charge of capital murder. But the suspect made little sense when he spoke to the judge. Stephen Lee Rada's first courtroom impression didn't earn him any leeway from the judge.
I have a pardon from Montana, and my name is Michael Olney.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir.
All right, I own the NFL as well, so
I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find there is probable cause to hold you on this charge. And being a capital felony, you'll be held no bond.
Sheriff Grady Judd reacted to Rada's behavior in much more colorful fashion.
We know that he's an evil, evil person.
Polk deputies say Rada used a power saw to slash his own son to death at their home on Old Bartow Road. His son had the same name, Stephen, but was by all accounts an upstanding, caring teen who had aspirations of becoming an electrician.
It breaks our heart. There aren't adequate words to explain how horrific this event is.
Rada's initial nonsensical appearance may foreshadow his legal strategy. Legal analyst Anthony Rickman expects lawyers will argue he is mentally ill to the point he can't determine right from wrong. The death penalty is at stake.
The state will have experts evaluating him. He'll have his own experts evaluating him. And these experts are trained and skilled to determining whether or not a person is faking insanity.
But Rickman expects that the state will point out that he was captured by deputies a mile away after fleeing the scene, and that deputies wrote in their report about what he said to his father and the victim's grandfather.
So do y'all think he's going to be able to get off on an insanity, mental illness? Because it don't sound like they are. Like, it seems like with men, they go off of logic and facts. Just being honest with you guys. When men are the ones that are being accused of capital murder and stuff like this, when they're potentially facing whether they are criminally insane or suffering from mental illness, it seems like the courts base it off of logic and facts. When it seems like with women, they always ask about their emotional state. Like, they're checking on their emotions. And I'm thinking, like, anybody who would do something like this is going to be emotional and probably whacked out of their mind. But I don't think that's an excuse. And that cannot continue to be an excuse used in court. So, no, I don't think he should get off. They're probably not going to let him get off. But I don't think anybody should get off when these scenarios come up. Like, don't sit there and talk about their history of mental illness after they hurt somebody. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, if they got mental illness, they shouldn't be around children, period, if they present a danger to them.
Beck then said to not go inside the residence and that he just killed somebody. The suspect then told Thomas Rada he should probably call the police.
They're going to say this person knew that he did something wrong. He walked out, said, call 911.
The Polk County Sheriff's Office says it is still investigating this case, but that it had no new information to release about it today. In Polk County, Evan Axelbank, Fox 13 News.
An awful story here in Lake Wales. This 16-year-old, who by all accounts had a big heart and a bright future, is dead now after deputies say his father brutally murdered him. Stephen Rada was staying with his granddad to help him out when investigators say Stephen's father killed him with a power saw. The sheriff calls the man evil and says because of him, a bright light in this community is gone. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer is in Lake Wales with more.
An absolutely horrific situation in a Lake Wales neighborhood, and nearly 12 hours later, there are still more questions than answers. Topping the list, why did this father kill his son? Stephen Rada was 16 years old, full of life, and with a full life ahead of him, according to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd.
He was just a stand-up, stellar young man.
Sheriff Judd says Stephen was living with his grandfather to help out while his grandmother was in rehab. As for the teenager's father, also named Stephen, the sheriff says he wasn't around much.
His dad had just shown up about a month ago.
Late Monday morning, the grandfather returned to his home on Old Bartow Road in Lake Wales. The elder Stephen was waiting outside.
And his quote was, "I wouldn't go in there if I was you. I killed someone."
Investigators say the person he killed was his son. We're told he used an angle grinder, a type of electrical saw, to do it. Detectives haven't yet determined why.
It breaks our heart. There aren't adequate words to explain how horrific this event is.
But for Sheriff Judd, there are always words to describe people like the suspect, who he says was a career criminal. We're told he tried to get away, but deputies caught him about a mile away.
The family has reported that he's psychotic. He's got a history all the way back to high school of using methamphetamine. And you go, well, he might have had a mental health issue. Well, of course he did. People don't murder people unless they're nutso.
The sheriff says it's a crime that left a family broken. And although there aren't many answers so far, investigators say this is what they do know.
We know that he's an evil, evil person. We know that he murdered his son today. And that son was a beautiful 16-year-old person.
And this comes a little more than a week after a mother killed her 2 children in what the sheriff's office has called an apparent murder-suicide. And Sheriff Grady Judd says in his long career in law enforcement, he can't remember a time when parents killed their children in 2 separate crimes just 8 days apart. In Polk County, Aaron Mesmer, Fox 13.
Details tonight, this father is accused of brutally killing his own son over the holiday weekend in Polk County. Deputies say he used a power saw to kill his 16-year-old son.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I own the NFL as well, so.
I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find there is probable cause to hold you on this charge. In being a capital felony, you'll be held no bond.
Sheriff Grady Judd reacted to Rada's behavior in much more colorful fashion.
We know that he's an evil, evil person.
Polk deputies say Rada used a power saw to slash his own son to death at their home on Old Bartow Road. His son had the same name, Stephen, but was by all accounts an upstanding, caring teen who had aspirations of becoming an electrician.
It breaks our heart. There aren't adequate words to explain how horrific this event is.
Rada's initial nonsensical appearance may foreshadow his legal strategy. Legal analyst Anthony Rickman expects lawyers will argue he is mentally ill to the point he can't determine right from wrong. The death penalty is at stake.
The state will have experts evaluating him. He'll have his own experts evaluating him. And these experts are trained and skilled to determining whether or not a person is faking insanity.
But Rickman
then he's a nasty, nasty, evil person.
This is the 16-year-old victim, Stephen Rada, who was killed Monday morning in Lake Wells by his father, who shares the same name. According to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, the Frostproof high school student was living with his grandfather and had a lot to look forward to in life.
He was to start work next week at Burger King to earn money so that he could buy a car.
He was also studying to be an electrician, which was his dream job. His life cut short by the very person who was supposed to protect him.
Well, on this particular morning, Thomas Rada, the grandfather, left about 8 o'clock to go visit with his wife in rehab.
And that's when Sheriff Judd says the father showed up at the house and killed his own son with an angle grinder, which is a handheld power tool. When the grandfather returned home around 11 a.m., he says he was unexpectedly met outside with the suspect, his son.
And his quote was, "I wouldn't go in there if I was you."
Let's just stop that right there. I mean, both of these guys, like, I can't tell which one is which. Like, these guys are probably both under the age of 45 years old. Look old as hell. But nonetheless, man, it's just really, really sad. For whatever reason he did this, I'm going to just assume that it was probably something along the lines of jealousy, because this young man had love, had respect from his friends and peers, and he knew that he was going to grow up and become something great, and this man wanted to cut him down. Whether it's this man or the other man, I don't know the difference. But his father ended his life, and it's just really, really sad. And, you know, if he gets the death penalty, I'm not going to be against it. Life sentence. It should be nothing less than a life sentence. But to this young man, young Prince, R.I.P. So if he has other siblings, I really, really hope that they pull through and that they can get past this and they can grow up and become something great. So keep the family in your prayers. And for those who were involved in his demise, like I said, man, I hope they get the fullest penalty under law in the state of Florida. So Sheriff Grady Judd, he's going to take care of it. I have ultimate faith in him. But let me know what you guys think about this story, if I got something wrong or if there's something more that you want to add to it. That's what the comment section's for. Let's work together, AFC, and we'll continue to keep spreading as much positivity and as much of this news and try to get justice for these babies, okay? Thank you.